If utilized well, this can be one of the most potent energies. However, if misunderstood, then this can also be a very potent energies in a negative direction. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been doing this series of planets from Rahu or in different houses from Rahu. And in that light, we have covered Jupiter, Saturn and Venus so far. Today, we will be covering the placement of Mars in the 12 houses from Rahu. Now keep in mind that Mars and Rahu together are very fiery energies, and in fact coming together they form the Garka dosha, which is the fiery dosha, one of the most potent doshas which are described in the Vedic astrology. And so we have to be very careful how Mars placement in the horoscope from Rahu can sometimes activate not so very good results, however giving us the potency sometimes to be able to be top achievers. So let's jump in and see how in your horoscope Mars placed in different houses from Rahu can bring us different possibilities, can give us different results. Now when Mars and Rahu are in the same house together or one from each other, or Mars is one from Rahu. Now what is Rahu? Rahu is your hunger, your greed. It is your ability to work out of boundaries. It is also your worldly attachments. It is also how you will be able to use tact, shrewdness and be able to use unusual effort to be able to get unorthodox results as well. So it's a mix of mischief, materialism, but also your karma for life. And when placed in the Lagna with Mars, it brings about a very fiery energy, which is about how different attributes of the Lagna, about the ascendant, about different areas of your life will be achieved or will be influenced by this very strong yoga or dosha, which is also called the Angarka dosha, between Rahu and Mars placed together. This can be more negatively inclined if the degree difference between Rahu and Mars is less than 10 degrees, with every lesser and lesser degrees from the 10 degree onwards coming to hardly any degree difference between the two. This can increase in potency many times, in fact exponentially. On the other side, if the degree difference between Mars and Rahu is say between 10 to 15 degrees, then this can be a degree of or a potency of even very strong achievements if the person is able to keep the highly unusual means, unusual worldly success oriented, the hunger and greed oriented energy of Rahu in limits. And hence, because they are placed in the Lagna, so this potency can influence how the person wants to achieve in society, what status he wants to or she wants to achieve, what will be your life goals, what will be your dignity, your confidence, how you will be achieving your success. All of these will be influenced by the Angarka dosha or this strong potent energy of Rahu and Mars coming together. And so your overall well-being can also be influenced by this very fiery energy. If you are able to keep this energy in check, then the fighting ability of Mars, the killer instinct of Mars, the goal-getting energy of Mars can bring you, coupled with the diplomacy, the hunger and greed of Rahu, fantastic results. And so with the problem-solving ability of Mars and the very strong manipulative, very clever energy of Rahu, somebody or a person can be able to use this ability of this energy coming together for superlative success also in life. However, sometimes if you push the ethical boundaries, then because of loss of focus of Mars, yet the hunger and greed of Rahu, somebody or this person, especially with Rahu and Mars, the Angarka dosha, especially in the Lagna, can also bring about their own downfall very quickly. So if you have this particular dosha in any house in your horoscope, or they are one to each other, then for that particular house be very careful, especially what is the rulership of Mars, also because that is one area where Either you can achieve superlative success, but also can bring about the huge downfall if you are not careful. Now when Mars is second house from Rahu or second from Rahu, so here what is a planet when it goes second from any planet? It brings about what is the gain from that planet. So if Mars goes second from Rahu, Mars denotes how you can gain from the energy of Rahu, how you can be able to get higher gains from how Rahu's energy is influenced in your horoscope. So here, because the second house from any house is the values, integrity of that house, your earnings of that house, your nourishment of that house. So whichever house Rahu is placed in, when Mars goes second from that, Mars energy is to be able to extract the energy from Rahu to be able to get the nourishment from that house where the Rahu is placed and to gain from that house. In fact, even if the person is able to use the creativity, then even get higher livelihood, savings, earnings also from that house wherever Rahu and Mars are 12 to 1, 12 or 2 to each other, which means Mars is second from Rahu and Rahu is 12 from Mars. So this is a very potent energy because here Rahu is your ability to be able to work out of your boundaries, your hunger, your greed, your diplomacy, your speculation, your karma for this life, and Mars is the ability to enforce rules, to be able to focus, to be able to get your goals, to have the killer instinct, the fighting ability. So if you are able to use this energy well, then Mars's energy can be used to be able to extract the maximum output from Rahu, the maximum gains from Rahu. Even your earning potential can go up. However, here one has to be a little careful on what values, what integrity you are able to demonstrate, you are able to showcase, because if you push the boundary a little bit more, then your earnings may not be from so very good resources. Your nourishment may also go through huge ups and downs. So people who have Mars second house from Rahu, you will find that many times you have very good periods or very good phases where everything seems to be hunky-dory, everything seems to be good. Suddenly you fall into a patch. That patch seems to be not so good a patch, and sometimes a lot of troubles can come to you during that patch. There can be a lot of problems also coming to you during that phase. So it is very important that you keep your integrity in check, you keep your values in check, and most important is not to lose the focus sometimes, which Mars can bring about over a period of time. So as long as you are able to combine this energy well, one of the most potent energies to be able to get the highest gains, even high earnings, higher livelihood, highest nourishment, if used positively. But on the other hand, if you allow the overshadowing of Mars by Rahu, then you can also bring about a situation where hunger and greed for money, for materialism, can make you sometimes sacrifice your values, your integrity, even at sometimes at the cost of a relationship. Now when Mars goes in the third house from Rahu, whichever house Rahu is placed, when Mars goes third from it. For example, if Rahu is in the fourth house, then Mars going in the sixth house. If Rahu is in the 10th house, then Mars going into the 12th house. So when Mars goes into the third house from Rahu, the third house from any house is the communication, the effort, your ability to use your self-enterprise, your influencing ability, your branding ability, your marketing ability, to be able to use that energy of that house. So wherever Rahu is placed, if Mars goes third from it, Mars's ability to be able to use your communication in a more creative, in a very innovative, in a very unusual means that Rahu brings you through an unusual effort. In fact, this can bring you some out of the box innovation also, sometimes unorthodox relations also. And because Rahu is the karma of this life and Mars is going third house from Rahu, which means a person sometimes has to work very hard to be able to extract where Rahu is placed, because Rahu is the karma for this innings. So wherever Rahu is placed, that is the karma for this innings. Mars going third from it means that you will have to work hard to be able to do your karma for that life. Wherever Rahu is placed, karma for that house also get enhanced by Mars going third house from Rahu. But this also gives you unusual ability, very, very creative communication. Your ability to be able to influence others goes very, very strong. And here a person, if the person is intelligent enough, can be very, very creative how they are able to influence others, how they are able to brand themselves, how they are able to market their own competency and be able to influence others for their own gains as well as gains of their team and others. Yeah, somebody can be very good at teaching, communication also. Somebody can be very good on the social media also. And the ability to use limbs. So people who are good artists, sometimes good painters, people who can be good dancers. So you will have at least one ability. Some of you may not have explored that energy to be able to use their creativity, to artistic ability in some direction, using their limbs, painting, dancing, something to do with the hands. If nothing else, a lot of creativity to write. Third house is also about communication. It is also about the ability to be able to reach out, to be able to narrate a story. So writing can also be very good, very creative here. So as long as you are able to use the killer instinct of Mars, the goal getting energy of Mars, you will be able to write roughshod over any competition because of Mars going in the third house from Rahu. Your ability to be able to work hard, to be able to kill competition and to be achieved goes very high. However, sometimes this pushes the boundaries to an extent where some people can lie, and this can also make you a little manipulative. You may not lie, but you may be too tactful with your communication. You know just enough to give so that the communication seems to be valid, yet you are holding back enough not to give your game away. So a very potent energy, very unusual energy, somebody who can be great in communication, great in arts, great in influencing ability, as long as you use this positivity that the two combinations bring in for your success and for the success of your team, for the success of your family and those who you wish to be able to bring that or share the success with. Now when Mars is fourth from Rahu. So what is the fourth house from any planet? Fourth house from any planet is how you should be able to get the assets using the energy of that planet. How you should be able to get peace, tranquility, nourishment, conveniences using the energy of that house or that planet, where the planet is placed in a certain house. So when Mars goes fourth from Rahu, this is an extremely strong, potent energy. Why is this such a strong and potent energy? Is because on one side, fourth house is the house of assets. Fourth house is also the house of peace, tranquility, nourishment. Here, if Mars goes fourth from Rahu, Rahu gives you the hunger and the greed to make assets, to build assets, and Mars going fourth from it. So this person may be able to put a lot of energy to be able to get assets, to be able to achieve assets, and sometimes even at the cost of their own peace, own happiness, they will want to go over all competition, ride over all competition to be able to achieve. However, this energy sometimes can create disturbances in your domestic life. Your peace and happiness at home can get shattered sometimes because of your own strong killer instinct, your very strong ambition, and such strong ambition that you don't see people around you, you're not sensitive to people around you. Sometimes the empathy of yours to be able to deal with relationships gets affected. But the problem with this placement is that many times we are the last to realize that we have also a problem, that we are the ones who are also creating some mischief. It's not that we are the only people who are creating the mischief, but we are also the mischief monger. Sometimes we may be the bigger mischief monger in the relationship. So with Mars in the fourth house from Rahu, one has to be a little careful. While this can bring you a lot of assets, this can bring you a lot of conveniences, life's comforts, but what can be sacrificed here is your peace, your happiness, your tranquility, your emotions. Sometimes this can also make you very cold-blooded. So as long as you are able to use this energy for ability to be able to make assets, to be able to get all the conveniences of life, all the comforts of life, good enough. The moment you push the boundaries, ethical boundaries a little bit, and you go for the killer instinct with the hunger of Rahu, sometimes the assets may be made using unethical means, sometimes even riding over the happiness and the peace at home. So if you have this placement, Mars fourth from Rahu, be a little careful how you're managing assets on one side and the peace and tranquility and happiness on the other. Now when Mars is fifth from Rahu, the moment Mars goes fifth from Rahu, Rahu's fifth aspect may fall on Mars, because the Rahu has the fifth and the ninth aspect. So if Mars going fifth from Rahu, which means now the fifth aspect of Rahu is on Mars. Now, what is the fifth house from any planet? The fifth house from any planet is how you're able to use that energy of the planet to be able to get gains, to be able to make investments, to be able to learn from the energy of the planet. Also make unusual relationships connected to the planet. Now, when Mars goes fifth from Rahu, the fifth house from Rahu is the unusual romance in your life, unusual interest in your life, unusual performances in your life, and in fact this can give you very good success, media success in an unusual manner. So those actors who are people who stand out with their performances, those people who are performers who have standout performances, who are not the orthodox kind of performers but unorthodox performers, people who have this X factor in them and who are able to bring out that factor which very few people may have. That is the energy that Mars is able to bring in the fifth house from Rahu. Especially with Rahu also being that you are able to push boundaries. So this performer, this artist may also be able to push boundaries. If you are a painter, if you are an artist, you will also push the boundaries of artistic ability, your ability to express yourself in an unusual manner, in an unusual means. And so this person can be one of the very, very creative performing artists also. But at the same time, because the fifth house from a planet is also the investments of the house, so Mars going fifth from Rahu and being under the fifth aspect of Rahu means that a person may have a huge hunger and greed for financial investments, but because of having the huge hunger for speculative investments, sometimes when the urge comes in and gets ignited, the person is not able to hold back and sometimes may make not so very good investments, not so very thoughtful investments as well. So one has to be very careful. Mars is fifth from Rahu because Rahu's aspect is on Mars, but Mars is not able to aspect Rahu back. However, this is also a place where the killer instinct is very high to be able to achieve your education, to be able to achieve your investment, to be able to achieve your romance. So sometimes a person may also mislead the romantic partner, lie to the romantic partner, not be completely honest to the romantic partner, and sometimes maybe not wishing something bad for the partner, but maybe trying to save themselves, like white lies. So one has to be a little careful with this placement, because sometimes if pushed too far, then the highly creative energy of using alternate data or alternate facts can be to your disadvantage. However, this is still a very good placement for media house performances, for investment related successes, for education related successes, especially in unusual areas of life. So if Mars fifth from Rahu, be able to use the creativity which the fifth house from Rahu brings to Mars, the creative energy, but also ensure that you don't lose your interest very quickly, because this can be one of the most potent energies to be able to give you the biggest success, the media, the artistic energies related success in life. Now when Mars is sixth from Rahu, which means that Rahu is now eighth from Mars. Now 6-8 placement of Mars and Rahu is a slightly tougher placement, because when Mars is sixth from Rahu, Rahu is eighth from Mars, which means Rahu now is under the eighth aspect of Mars. So rather than Rahu being influencing Mars, it is Rahu which is getting under the influence of Mars. That is the eighth aspect of Mars, the obstacle bringing and the obstacle breaking aspect of Mars as well. But because the eighth house is also the house of obstacles, challenges, issues, problems, so this is a very strong energy that the person with his or her killer instinct, with their fighting ability, their goal getting energy, can overcome all obstacles, all challenges, all issues to be able to get the material gains, worldly success also. However, the initial part of life surely will have some challenges, some problems, some ups and downs, a roller coaster ride before the success comes. However, the 6-8 energy will still kick in, which means on one side, because Mars is sixth from Rahu, there will be unusual competition, hidden enemies also. People working behind your back many times which you are not even aware of. But on the other hand, because of the killer instinct of Mars, the problem solving ability of Mars, you will be able to ride roughshod over all competition and get success. And because the sixth from any planet is also how you are able to serve in the direction of that energy of the planet, and also how you are able to serve not only in the direction of the planet, but also sometimes get sicknesses, challenges, issues from the energy of the planet. So Mars 6th from Rahu sometimes can give you unusual sicknesses, sometimes which are difficult to diagnose also. Sometimes because of your strong hunger and greed, you may also fall into debts and loans. A number of you who have Mars 6th from Rahu, you may have sometimes rushed into getting some loans or debts, only to realize later that you may either have not needed that debt or get into that loan, or you have not got into the right factors or with the right people, or you have got a not such a good deal where your interest payments may be high, the EMI may be high, so on and so forth. And because this is also your ability to serve, many times your ability to serve in an unusual manner, in an unusual area, in an unusual arena, in an unusual industry is also very, very strong. So ability to be able to overcome all competition, all inimical challenges with the energy of Mars, but through a roller coaster ride where you achieve some, but there are also challenges and problems, even losses on the way, only to again to be able to gain, only to go down again. And this roller coaster ride continues as long as you are not able to control through your Mars aspect on Rahu, the unusual energy of Rahu, to have the strong hunger and greed and not being able to keep the focus. But if use this energy well, in spite of all challenges, all ups and downs, the person can eventually come out as a success, going over all competition, riding roughshod over all competition. One of the most potent energies to be able to score over competition than any other placement of Mars from Rahu. Now when Rahu and Mars are 7-7 from each other or 1-7 from each other, which means Mars is in the 7th house from Rahu. Now what is the 7th house from any planet? The planet's energy when it is 7th from any other planet is how you are able to use the relations connected to the planet. So a planet, any planet which is 7th from Sun will bring about how you are related to your father. Any planet 7th to Moon will bring about how you are able to relate to your mother. Any planet 7th from Jupiter, especially for women, will show how you are able to relate to your spouse. Any planet which is placed 7th from Mercury may also bring in about how you are able to relate to younger people or younger children. So when the planet like Mars goes 7th from Rahu, what is Rahu? Rahu is relations, but unusual relations, unusual connections, unusual teamwork, unusual partnerships. So Mars going 7th from Rahu means you may have this issue of sometimes getting into the wrong relation or unusual relation which society may not be very easily accepting. So a relationship out of your ethnicity, out of your religion, out of your region, or out of your societal background also, your social status also, your social stature also may happen with this. But because you are used to being a little unusual in your thought process, you don't mind and you push aside any sort of finger pointing that society may be doing to you. You feel that this is all okay, today everything goes. So you continue with the relationship, you continue with the partnership, you continue with the team. And many times you end up working with unusual, not only in relations, but even with unusual people. At work, with your boss, in unusual industries also, or breakthrough industries, new industries also, where others, it may be a new industry for many others, and it may be maybe as they say, green shoot industry also which is coming up, or a startup that you work with. There will be something unusual related to the organization that you work, the team that you work, or the people that you work. And there may be something unusual about the relationship you have, the partnership you have, or your partner itself. So if Mars goes 7th from Rahu, be a little careful what kind of relationships you are getting into. Secondly, ensure that the relationship is an even keel. There is not too much balance on one side, because with this energy many times you may end up, because Mars is 7th from Rahu, you end up giving too much in the relationship. You're always running in one direction or the other, sometimes like a headless chicken, because Rahu is the hunger and greed. So the partner sometimes has high expectations from you, and so you're always running around to be able to satisfy your partner, to be able to satisfy your better half, but many times you are not able to get enough of from the relationship, enough of gain from the relationship, you're not able to get your pound of flesh. However, because Mars is also represents the fighting ability, many times you end up fighting for your gains, fighting to have an equal say in the relationship also. So, and that's why many times with Mars 7 from Rahu, the first one was even the two relations, sometimes even three, first 2 or 3 relationships go south, and only after many relations or maybe after many years, the person realizes that one has to be more careful in how you select partners, because the hunger of greed of Rahu on one side and your ability to be able to lose quick interest quickly connected to Mars sometimes makes a relationship not survive for too long. So if your Mars 7 from Rahu, be careful what relationships you are getting into and what is the basis, what is the foundation of the basis. Rather than hunger and greed or trying to gain from each other, they should also be based on strong values, strong relationship oriented with the 7th house represent, rather than the materialistic gains that sometimes Rahu can give the energy to Mars and then makes people go south in the relationship rather than gain from it. Now, when Mars is 8th from Rahu, which means Rahu is then 6th from Mars. So yeah, what is the energy of any planet which is 8th from any other planet? The planet which is 8th from the other planet, which means that the obstacles connected to that planet, the issues connected to the planet, the sudden issues related to that planet all get influenced by or influence this planet. So when Mars is 8th from Rahu, the hunger and greed of Rahu, the out of the boundaries attraction, the worldly attachments, the shrewdness, the unusual tact, the diplomacy, all influences Mars in such a way that you find that many a times such either shrewdness or materialistic attachment of your relationships also becomes an obstacle for you, becomes a challenge for you. Either somebody within your fraternity, within the people around you, boss, team, spouse, your friend, somebody may be pushing you to get more, to gain more. But because of that, we also be creating unusual boundaries for you, unusual obstacles for you, unusual challenges for you. But this is also an energy where after a period of issues, problems, losses, obstacles, with a transformation because of one strong upheaval, the person learns, the person transforms, the person realizes that where I need to move, in which direction I need to be able to go, which tangent I need to go, which route I need to take, which path I need to take, what goals I need to be able to go towards, rather than running like a headless chicken or running for somebody else's goals, for somebody else's ambitions. So this is an energy many times where you may be misused for somebody else's ambitions rather than for your own. So if you have Mars 8th from Rahu, be very careful that somebody else is not creating obstacles for you, not creating problems for you. And because of not being clear in your goals, in which direction you are going, which tangent you are going, because of not being very clear, you are getting into one issue after another. You are going through one upheaval after the other. However, the sooner you open your eyes, sooner you are able to see, the sooner you are able to transform your vision, the better for you. And many times the transformation sometimes comes in the late 30s, and sometimes you have lost a lot of time and then you have to make up a lot more for what you have lost already. However, this is also an energy when Mars goes 8th from Rahu, that this is an energy to be able to overcome all issues, all obstacles, because of the killer instinct of Mars, because of the goal getting energy of Mars, because of the problem solving energy of Mars. This gives you very, very strong willpower. Very rarely have I seen that Mars is 8th from Rahu and somebody has been able to put that person down for a long period of time. This is a rebellious energy. This is an energy where the person will break all shackles, will self-heal, will solve their own problems. In fact, in power struggle, this is a very, very strong, potent energy to be able to overcome the obstacles, the challenges with your fighting ability, and then to be able to come out. However, many times what happens is because of Mars's strong possibility of losing your interest very quickly, on the verge of victory, sometimes you just give up and you lose and you walk away. Even in relationship, when we are on the verge of either relationship coming good or the relationship turning positive or the partnership turning positive, many times you are ready to give up. So as long as you are able to keep your patience, your perseverance, you are able to overcome all challenges, that one transformation can be able to bring about such a huge change in your life that positivity, all obstacles being shattered, can be in your favor, and no obstacle will be able to stand in front of you when Mars is in the 8th house from Rahu. Now when Mars is in the 9th house from Rahu, this is a very strong energy of Rahu's 9th influence on Mars. Now what is any planet which goes 9th from any other planet? The planet which is 9th from any planet shows how you can gain from the other planet, how you will be able to learn from the experiences of the other planet or use the energy of the other planet to be able to gain. So if Mars goes 9th from Rahu, the person's ability to gain from the hunger, the greed, the creativity, the innovation, the unusual methods, the breakthrough achievements that Rahu can bring you can come to your advantage, can come to your gain. So this is an energy where you can get a lot of higher learning, unusual qualifications. Many times such people will not choose the usual streams or will not have the herd mentality that my friend is doing commerce or most of my friends are doing IT or I'll go in that. If you do that, then very soon you realize that this is not what I want to do, and very quickly you will move away from following the herd mentality. This is a breaking away from the herd mentality, learning on your own, learning from your experiences, learning from your experiential experiences, we're going through certain experiences, learning from them, getting higher learning, and then getting success. And so very often this is an energy where you are dealing with people from different cultures, you are dealing with people from different ethnicities, different regions. You are sometimes also working in different types of industries. A person may start off with one industry, end up in the other. The person may get qualification in one industry but end up working in some other industry also with this energy. So if Mars is 9th from Rahu, the ability to gain very strong with your fighting ability of Mars, with your goal getting energy of Mars, being able to overcome all competition for gains related to your education, related to your qualification, related to your experiences, and related to working with people across boundaries is very strong. If you have this energy, this is a very strong potent energy to be able to gain over all sorts of obstacles, all sorts of challenges. As long as you keep your vision open, you are able to keep your route open, and you're not hesitating to be able to cross all sorts of boundaries to be able to gain. Now when Mars goes 10th from Rahu, this is a very strong energy, because when Mars goes 10th from Rahu, Rahu is under direct 4th aspect of Mars. So here Mars' ability to aspect Rahu and influence Rahu is much stronger than Rahu's ability to influence Mars. However, what is the energy of a planet which goes 10th from any planet? Which means that the karma connected to the planet you will be able to do most because of the Mars' energy being 10th from the planet. So because Mars is 10th from Rahu, and Rahu is the karma for this life, so the energy to be able to do your karma, to be able to cross boundaries, to be able to get material success is very high. Such a person can do very well at work, can do very well in not only their karma connected to their daily life or to their jobs, but in general. This is an energy where the person may use unusual means connected to work, connected to projects, connected to how they deal with their superiors, connected to how they deal with their bosses. And many times they also bring in the creativity to their projects, to their work, that the bosses tend to have more faith on them, more belief in them, more confidence on them also. However, this is also a placement where sometimes you take time to be able to get the right track. You take time to be able to understand how to be able to deal with challenges and issues at work. So if you are able to combine the killer instinct of Mars and combine the hunger and greed of Rahu, then this can be a very potent energy. However, because of Mars's 4th aspect on Rahu, many times Mars tries to give more energy to Rahu, and so increases the hunger and greed connected to work, connected to your career. So this is an energy many times you are not able to be very patient when growth takes late or comes late to you, when you're not given the right roles, you're not able to get the right designations, you're not able to get the right corner office, you're not able to get the right projects. So very soon the person may lose interest or not be able to keep their patience. So sometimes initially, at least, or initial part of career, you may find that you may change jobs very quickly. You may hardly be able to survive for more than 2 or 3 years in a job, maximum 4 years, and then you move on. So if you are able to overcome this tendency to be able to quitting one job and getting into another because growth is not coming, because you're not able to get the right increments, because you're not able to get the right acknowledgement, appreciation, and you're able to keep patience, persevere, and be more diplomatic in how you deal with your superiors at work, then you can also achieve superlative success in your job, in your career with this placement, where your Mars is able to influence Rahu to be able to keep the energy, keep the unusual means to be able to get highest material worldly success, career success as well. Now when Mars goes 11th from Rahu, this is one of the most potent forces, most potent energies in the horoscope. Why is it so? A planet, whenever it goes 11th from another planet, it is about gains from the other planet, but over a period of time, in an upachaya energy, which means over a period of time you are able to extract the energy from the planet which is 11th from the other, and then to be able to gain from it over a period of time. So when Mars is 11th from Rahu, it means Mars's ability to extract the energy from Rahu to be able to gain societal gains in your network, in your societal connections, through your friends, through your acquaintances, working in large organizations will come to you, built over a period of time because of the upachaya energy. However, the 11th house, mind you, is also not only a social connection, your social network, the larger society or large organization masses, but also your wishes and desires coming true. So many times your wishes and desires, wanting to work in large brands, wanting to work in large organizations, wanting to work in large causes can come good also. And here many times a person, especially with Mars 11th from Rahu, you will find that you may end up working with large organizations, especially those organizations which are multinational companies or who have some foreign element to them, or your role will have some uniqueness to the role. Sometimes the role may be such that it has not been well defined, the job description is not very clear. You are given some role, but you are also utilized in some other manner also. So especially with Mars going 11th from Rahu, the hunger and greed to be able to achieve from society, having societal connection, having strong network is very, very strongly there. However, Mars is also a problem solver. Many times you end up solving problems for others, for the masses, for society, rather than for yourself. So many times you may find the number of friends that you have who are your 4am friends are very few. However, you are the one who is most of the time rushing for others, running for others, helping others, working for others. However, this is a very strong energy where built over a period of time, huge societal success, mass success, mass adulation might come also to you because of Mars being 11th from Rahu. Rahu is breakout energy. When the adulation comes to you, when the success comes to you, is huge, and you reap the benefits from it in all areas, not only in terms of adulation, mass adulation, but also mass success, even material success. Yeah, the success may come low or late, built over a period of time, but when it comes, the potential to be able to get the best material success is when Mars is 11th from Rahu. Now when Mars is 12th from Rahu, which means Rahu is 2nd from Mars. This is a very, very strong energy where Mars being 12th from Rahu, and any planet which is 12th from the other planet, which means it is the waste and excess of the other planet's energy. So when Mars goes 12th from Rahu, Mars brings about the waste and excess with the Rahu's energy. So Rahu sometimes pushes you to be able to work in that direction, which is a wasteful experience for you, wasteful effort for you. So many times a person with Mars 12th from Rahu ends up many years into their career not being able to know in which direction they are going, where they are gaining, whether they are gaining, and seems to just be amble along, and seems to also move in multiple directions sometimes like a headless chicken, also not knowing where they're heading. Though the aspiration is there, the strong aspiration for material success is there. Sometimes the people with Rahu, with Mars 12 from Rahu, think that I'm very, very clear what my objective is, but they don't know the path to the objective. And so initial part of their life, there will be waste and excess in their efforts, not being able to know where to focus. They try to focus, they try to gain from that area of that house, but then suddenly they realize they are not able to get that acknowledgement, the appreciation. They lose interest, they go in another direction. then very soon they find that this is also a loss making effort, are not gaining me what I am looking for, and then they move into other direction. However, because Rahu being the second from Mars, if you are able to keep your patience, if you are able to keep your focus, if you are not able to lose your interest quickly, then this can bring you large gains because of Rahu being second from Mars. Using the energy of Mars, you can get unusual success, worldly success in your remuneration, in your ability to gain, in your income also, unusual success, sometimes more than one avenue to earn revenue also, to earn income also, to make gains also. So with this energy, if you are able to keep your patience in check, you don't focus on wrong areas, you're not focusing on too many different areas, you're able to keep the focus right, then you'll be able to curb your losses, and then very soon over a period of time you realize where to actually focus, how to work smartly rather than working too hard. You're able to work smartly and then gain. This is a very strong energy where the person works hard abroad, away from the place of birth, many hundreds of kilometers or thousands of kilometers away from the place of birth, and then gets their success. Sometimes this is also placement where you are shuttling initial part of life between where you are born and where you are intended to do your karma. One of the most strongest of forces to be able to get your moksha, connected to be able to doing more for others, fighting for others, standing up for others. And many times such people may also work in some area, armed forces or hospitals or clinics, in some area where you are required to work hard, you are required to work for long hours, you are required to work for others, stand up for others, and then gain from that, or gain your salary from that, get your remuneration from that. However, if your aim is, your focus is away from the place of your birth, this can give you huge success in foreign land, with foreign clients, with foreign consultants as well. And this is one of the strongest placements to leave a strong legacy behind. Very strong placement of even moksha, of charity, of giving up, means spiritual ascension. Jupiter gets involved in the mix. So friend, now that we have seen how Mars plays in the 12 houses from Rahu can bring about different permutations, can bring about different possibilities for you, and how it can give you different kinds of results. So please focus on which house your Mars is placed from Rahu. Understand the placement well. Understand the other yoga, doshas, aspects very well. Understand your dasha period very well. Then be able to use this very potent energy to your advantage rather than falling prey to its energy. So friend, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.